Hi, everybody. This is Chris,
And this is Matt.
and we're two things that make you go, hmm.
Hmm. I like it. Good
Yes,
lead in
good
tonight.
lead in. A little CNC Music Factory for those of you who. Do you remember CNC Music Factory?
Oh, hell yes, I remember
Okay.
CNC Music Factory. I always get CNC Music Factory confused with Miami Sound Machine.
Oh my God. I mean, there's a machine in a factory thing, and I understand
Exactly. It
what,
just
but
makes sense.
yeah, from a wording standpoint, I get it. But holy shit, those are two very different.
Very incredibly
Very.
different things. One has way more spicy Latin flavor than the other.
And the other one's me. All right. No, we're gonna. For those of you joining us for the first time, this is a discussion of a game that we've played for a little while. We pick two games a month usually. Right now, all our games are kind of short. We're not doing any long games for a bit while we manage some time situations.
Yes.
But this
It's a nice
game,
way of saying it.
yeah, this is not a. What is it not, Matt? It's not. What's the word
Oh,
for
it's
it?
it's definitely not a review.
Oh, that's right. It's not a
Who,
review.
who could even begin to review The Attack of the Phantom Karate Devils by John Orthell?
In 1983. Well, there are a
Yeah.
couple magazines that did back in the day, and I'm going to talk about some of those.
I desperately want to know because I usually do some research, but and I tried with this, but there's not a lot out there. There's no like list of games published by Phantom Software. There's no, you know, uh, list of John Orthell games, and I think this was kind of a one and done, really.
That's been my take. I would need to look a little bit more. I'm sure somebody out there might be able to feed us some info.
Hmm.
But yeah, this was 1983, Attack of the Phantom Karate Devils, and I picked it for a reason. And so I'm just going to ask that reason right up front, right now. Which would you rather play? Which is better, Matt?
Oh God.
Attack of the Phantom Karate Devils or Auto Duel?
I mean, any day of the week, I would play Attack of the Phantom Karate
Okay,
Devils.
my quest goes on.
This game is incomprehensible. It
Yeah,
looks terrible. It sounds terrible. But it's charming. It's oddly a charming little thing.
I've always remembered it as being a bad game, but the thing I can say for it is I've always remembered it.
Oh God, yeah. I will
And
never forget this.
I played it enough to beat it, I think. And I'm
Yeah.
going to show, we're going to watch this video actually several times. Um, because to play the whole game is like 3 minutes, 10 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to get to the bridge.
Right, right. So like this game is about
Avenging your master.
avenging your master
And
from these phantom karate devils, and like is there a more karate plot than that? Like your your sensei is always getting kidnapped, always
murdered.
getting murdered, and like you better hope it's yakuza.
And there's one of the things, I just want a real world spin off for a second. So in high school, I did martial arts. And right after I went to college, my martial arts instructor died, and no one knew what happened. Someone who claimed to be his brother, who we didn't know he had a brother, showed up, said they're going to take him back to California for a funeral. None of us got to see it or know anything about it, and we all felt
Hmm.
really close to him. He was family to us. And I now realize I failed him. I needed to go avenge him.
You never avenged him? What
I
the
need to burn
fuck,
my black
dude?
belt.
Yeah,
I
that's
never
horrible.
avenged my master. We'll explain what this incomprehensible mess is on the screen later. We'll
Oh
keep
God.
talking for now because, like I said, we're gonna zip through this a few times.
Yeah. Like that's like when you get a black belt, you know you're going to have to at some point
Avenge your
avenge or
master.
rescue your sensei,
Hmm.
and in doing so you will become a master,
Mm-hmm.
and the cycle continues in perpetuity. So actually, it's quite fortunate because we wouldn't be able to make this intensely successful YouTube show had you been
Needing
abducted by
avenging.
phantom karate devils.
Yes. Yes.
My karate experience was that I went for 3 weeks when I was in kindergarten and promptly quit.
And promptly quit. Kindergarten's too young.
Yeah, I was
It
really
is.
young. I went long enough to get leather fingerless gloves with the holes in the knuckles. And
Okay.
then I was like, okay, I've achieved all my karate goals. I'm done.
I didn't know they handed those out here.
They don't, you have to buy them from the weird kind of shop in the lobby. You just have to like bug your mom for 2 weeks. And you too can attain karate perfection, as I have.
See, our style was there was no gear, there was no anything. We were a rural, and we knew that. We did it out of high school gyms, and we just kind of taught that way, and it was very rough. Like, when it was time, it was like, okay, we're going to learn stick fighting, stick attack, stick defense, all that. I want everyone to bring in a stick. And
What
like
was BYOS?
BYOS and the sticks that came in. One guy came in with a tree branch he sawed off that morning. I had a broomstick I had sawed in half. Another guy came in with an axe handle, and we just all started swinging at each other. No pads, no gloves, no anything. Just fighting with sticks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I miss the '80s.
I know. The unstructuredness of it sounds just
So
brilliant.
chaotic. But that's one of the things. This game, as far as anyone knows, is the first fighting game on a home computer.
Wow. What a pedigree.
What a pedigree. And like, let me pull up some of the stuff here.
Well, this is an important debate. This perfectly frames a question I've had for a long time about the march of progress. So
Mm-hmm.
like would we have, Street Fighter, Tekken, all those like games were it not for Attack of the Phantom Karate Devils?
I think this is much similar to Project Firestart, where it happens to be parallel development.
Hmm.
Sometimes you just get that. I think Karate Champ, you needed Karate Champ. You
Yeah.
needed Way of the Exploding Fist, and you needed International Karate.
Hmm. But
I
you
don't
didn't.
know if anybody ever saw those, but I think there must have been some symbiosis between them somewhere that fed into that. Because Street Fighter feeds into the same, not just that it's a fighting game, but it has the like bonus stages between where you're breaking shit.
Hmm.
And that's what all those games had too, where there was
Well,
this.
this game has that, which is quite remarkable, I
It
think.
doesn't have like a board breaking beat up the
It
car stage.
it doesn't, but you do have to defend yourself from flying objects.
Yes, yes. And I don't know
So
of an earlier fighting game that had flying objects. So
I believe that progress is inevitable, and like games will eventually get there on their own. I think we would end up with fighting games. I think we would end up with,
well,
I think we would end up with the horror genre
yeah,
without Resident Evil, the third person. Maybe not quite in the same mode, but
we're
I
gonna
think we
play a
we get
game
there.
maybe in the not too distant future. Now that you've brought this conversation up, because I want to have it again. Of a game on the Play-Doh system, so I'll need to walk you through getting an
Oh
account on
God.
that.
Okay. Really? You're gonna make me do it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'll do it.
What do you think the Play-Doh system is?
Isn't it the super old, like world's first wireframe computer?
Yeah, sort of the internet before the internet.
Yeah.
I would say graphics I've seen on Play-Doh, while they're not exactly professional level, were better than this.
That's
I
that is
understand
the
low bar,
lowest of
but
low bars.
the thing I want to talk about is there is a game called Pedit 5, which stands for P Edit number 5. Everybody was allowed to have 5 programs on it,
Hmm.
and the sysadmin at that place would just delete anybody who made a game.
Hmm.
And he had heard about an RPG and he wanted to make his own RPG kind of like that and couldn't name it something where the sysadmin would find it and delete it. So it's Pedit 5.
This admins, man,
Screw those guys.
terrible people.
Jerks. Jerks to the last.
Yep.
Anyway, it looks like Ultima.
Oh, okay.
Not even kinda. And supposedly Gary
Hold
has
on.
never done anything with the Play-Doh, where wizardry definitely took stuff from the Play-Doh.
Right. That's where I know Plato from.
Right.
Is the precursor to wizardry.
And this is where I'm going to say, you're thinking, what does like a PC history, like if you point an arrow back that way in time, what does a pre 1970s computer look like? And I'm going to tell you, you're wrong. And just prepare to be very surprised when we get to it, because it's not what you think. It's just not. And if you don't know about the Play-Doh system and you're interested in that sort of thing, the book you want to get is Friendly Orange Glow, either as an audiobook or as a book if you're into books.
If you're of the reading.
If you're of the reading variety. Egon Spengler told me print is dead, but...
Right. Nice. Well, we should probably talk about
We
this
should talk
Phantom
about this
Karate
game.
thing. So it opens with this like bowling alley font for Phantom Software, which I found, endearing. And then you see this like kind of rictus skull man with unusually large limbs battling what appears to be a pair of dish glove hands and a bandit mask.
Well, right. So, for people who know what they're looking at, they're looking at the Commodore's character graphics, not sprite. To me, that makes this a little more impressive on a technical standpoint. Granted, you wouldn't have gotten a sprite this big, but you're changing where stuff is on the screen. I don't know. To me, I'm just a little more impressed with it on a technical aspect than if they'd use sprites.
It's ugly as shit, but it's real. It like the legs are kind of shaded. The guy kind of moves in a pretty decent way, but I mean, you know what everything is, right? But it's definitely not like Commodore eye candy.
From Compute Gazette, February 1984. Graphically entertaining. Attack of the Phantom Karate Devils is a game which uses the Commodore 64 graphic capabilities well.
Okay. Well, who am I to argue with whatever periodical that was?
That's the thing. I've found it in a couple other places. This, at the time, was considered great graphics. Now, I have a hard time with that.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I mean, I didn't play it in 1983, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they do mention that the scrolling's bad. Like, the scrolling is rough on this.
The problem I had with the scrolling was I got into the first level and you're like in front of some kind of temple or dojo or something. And you fight if you fight your way all to the right side of the screen, which is kind of happens naturally and like kind of feels like the right thing to do. What happens is you get over to the edge of the screen and it stops, and then someone throws knives at you and you have to listen to the you got hit by a knife sound over and over again. And so I'm like, oh fuck, okay, well, I guess I suck. I shouldn't have gone all the way to the left.
Yeah.
So fuck me. But level 2, it scrolls.
It scrolls.
Like,
Gotta
oh,
keep going.
surprise! Like it's different now.
Yeah, and no clue on that. Like,
No clue.
I mean, I guess here's my question for you: how much of a pass do you give a game that has no template to it before that?
A considerable pass. Like I I found it like I found that part of it. I was like vaguely annoyed by it, but I wasn't like really mad about it. It didn't like ruin the game, and you like kind of like I said, you kind of naturally end up over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you know if you're doing something new or you're doing a lot with a little,
You're
well,
willing to cut them some slack.
I'll cut you some slack.
I mean, that's always been the part I've had the hardest time trying to like decide about this game. It's like how much. Hang on a second. I don't know, man.
Oh,
I mean, how much slack do you give it?
I think you give it a lot, really. The reason I give it so much slack is not because it was a pioneering masterpiece in a fledgling genre that it pretty much invented. I give it slack because it's just so fucking weird. It's just like this is a weird endeavor that you're gonna it's a weird trip and you just gotta have to be there for it. So
I can get behind that. Like, I can. I mean, obviously, I gave it some slack because I kept coming back to it.
yeah, yeah. And like the gameplay is interesting. It's very digestible chunks, you know. It's like fun in a very specific way. I don't know. Like I overall I actually kind of liked it just because of the mess of it all. You know, I don't know what the fuck a Dan is, but I wanted more of them than I ever got, you
Degree
know.
of black belt.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know, you told me.
I did, but it's most some other people might not know.
Yeah.
I was just surprised because like I remember this game being such a hot mess and just always having this sort of like love hate relationship with it. And after you're like, you can't lower the bar for auto duel, I'm like, let's see if we can't. Like, because I presumed you'd hate this. This is such a mess.
No, like I was mostly frustrated with the gameplay. Uh I I struggled with it. I think naturally you just are gonna struggle with it. Like the controls aren't that great, and you know,
Yeah, I think it took us like, well, so let's talk about how the game works.
right. So
Because we've been just talking like you struggle with the controls, but I think one of the weirdest things about this game is you have health. And when you get hit, you lose health. But
mhm,
every move you do has you lose health.
right.
So you've got to, it's sort of a energy management game, a resource management fighting game. Like here, I'm going to pause right here.
God, this screen. So this screen pops up and it tells you right on the top, press any key to hold this display. You better fucking do it
Yeah.
because the controls are basically impossible to figure out unless you pay close attention to this. And it also divulges a few very important and totally incomprehensible gameplay elements, such as you must or you really want to jump through those doors.
You cannot get to the end of the game if you don't jump through the doors because you don't get
Right,
enough energy back.
right.
You get energy back when your character promotes and when you jump through doors. That's it. You'll run out just fighting what's at you. Now, that's not if you're missing or making any mistakes.
Right. Jump plus block star slash knife.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be doing that. So, like, get that idea out of your fucking head immediately.
Yep.
But you definitely want to jump through those doors.
Yep.
You might accidentally do that thing on the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
but you are just like, and also like right punch low, not a move you're ever gonna do.
No.
Don't even like pretend like you're gonna do it.
Yeah, ideally you want to do the kicks because
My
those get you more damage and less energy.
Right. Yeah, the kicks are generally a good buy. I found that when I had the most luck doing the the kicks, but I found that it was not a sustainable long-term strategy for me. So I ended up doing a lot of uh
The little light
right
punches.
punch high. I was a real right punch high with an occasional kick thrown in and maybe once in a while jumping accidentally.
Right. No, and that makes sense. And this is where if you want to finish the game, you have to decide I'm going to finish the game. It's not something you're going to stumble into because of exactly what we just said. If you're just swinging things around and having fun with it, you're not going to finish it. And I think that's the biggest ding I give against this is if you're having fun with it,
Hmm.
you can't finish it.
Yeah, right. Because really what you want to do is throw a lot of moves
Yeah.
all the time. You just want to do it.
If you want to go
And like
Jackie Chan on a guy and
right.
you got to pace it, you got to time it. It's a thinking man's karate.
Exactly. The thing I found the most frustrating about it ultimately was that I didn't understand how it was paced. I didn't understand when the doors would open, when the Phantom Karate Devils would disappear, when the throwing stars would be coming. It's just like kind of all happens at random.
I was going to say I think I beat this game and I don't understand it.
Yeah, like sometimes I'd be like just like stuck on the first level for a really long time and no door would open. Uh, and sometimes I'd fight one Phantom Karate Devil for like a
Yeah.
minute, and sometimes they vanish after 5 seconds, and I don't think it's because I was doing really well or really poorly.
Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely like that guy just disappeared. Now here comes another one. And I don't know, did I beat him? Did it just because that guy slid through the screen with me, so it's not because I
Right,
went down a screen.
and that's not the best. And when the door opens, you want to just like hightail it through the door, ensuring that you jump. By
Mm-hmm.
the way,
Yeah.
but sometimes there's Phantom Karate Devils in the way, and like you might think, oh, the right thing to do here is defeat this Phantom Karate Devil and then jump through the door.
Yeah.
But you might be wrong because you might defeat him, but then another one comes immediately.
Yeah.
So really, what you want to do is try not to get stuck on him and just jump through the door.
Right.
And that's not super fun to me.
All right. And when you get through all the doors, you get to a screen that looks like this. And you might be thinking, Chris, your game is hacked. You got a hacked game, and your final screen is garbage. Found in an interview at the time, this is Control World. You're in the computer fighting the Phantomist Karatiest Devil of all the Phantom
The
Karate
Master
Devils.
Control unit or
Yeah.
the Master Control program. Yeah. And then you learn that you must avenge the master. You've beaten this. I have not. I did not beat it. I refuse to use the hack system because the games are so short. I was like, I
Right.
don't want to. I don't want to dilute the perfection of this game by cheating.
Well, yeah, you can like once you get the hang of it, you can get through the whole thing in like I said, like 3 minutes.
Yeah, right. It's
S-
not hours of your time.
So here is the now obviously I got this from my friend's neighbor.
Mhm.
So, you know,
As one does.
that to me is the right price for a Phantom Karate Devil fight.
Yeah,
What would you have paid for this? Knowing the Mastertronic budget games we've seen, knowing how
I
many
would
games I've said are like $10.
I
And
would have put this above the $1.99 Mastertronic titles, but definitely in the $10 to $15 range.
And keep in mind, this is $1983. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Right,
not
which
the
is like
same as $15 today,
$1,000
which gets you a
basically.
Coke at McDonald's, if I'm not mistaken.
Right?
Gets you a
God,
chance
we're
to
old.
drive by the gas pump.
Yeah, don't get me started.
um, $34.95. Mail
That's too
order
much.
only. So you got to send the money to someone else. They cash the check, and then you got to wait for it to get to you.
God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine seeing that relatively sweet box art in a magazine and like, oh,
And all the reviews
Phantom
that are
Karate
just
Devils.
glowing about this thing.
Right. So you send off your check, you wait the 6 to 8 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and you finally get the disc in the mail, and it's this.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's an important lesson to never look forward to anything.
All life is pain.
Yep. Life is suffering, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something.
Exactly. I'm just looking at what games came out in 1984. Because
Yeah,
this
hit
came
us
out
up with
the
some.
end of 1983.
Right.
There's an Evil Dead game that came out in 1984?
No.
That's what it says.
Well, okay. I think we got to put
Gotta
a
put
pause
that
on
on the
this.
list, if nothing else.
Yeah. It
Uh,
couldn't have been Evil Dead because Evil Dead wasn't made
I mean,
in 80.
Beyond Castle Wolfenstein came out in 84. Bruce
Okay.
Lee, we've played that.
Yeah, we did. The lanterns and the sumo dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, those weren't nothing to spit at there. Those are
No.
solid titles. But this is kind of fun in its way. And it's not like it's weird enough that I think everyone should give it a shot if you're into retro stuff at all, just to like have done it. It's like quintessential short game material.
Yeah. No, it really is. It's one of those where, at the current price point of where you can find it to download because nowhere else has it,
Right.
go nuts.
The
But
Diabolical Ninja.
the Diabolical Ninja. This has a totally 80s martial arts
Oh my
vibe.
god,
Feel
yeah, it
to
really
Like,
does. It really does. These Phantom Karate Devils are diabolical. I'll
I
give them
feel.
that.
I think the other problem is it was so close to getting it right.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I would have liked to fight these ninjas. Instead, they just come at you with dishwashing gloves.
like this,
Yeah,
which I
they're
appreciate.
gonna Larry Moe and Curly you right in the eye. They're gonna just like a,
Right. Yeah, right. They're just kind of. I wish there were just a little.
just a smidge more. It's so close.
Yeah. You would ruin this with a lot more structure, but I
Hmm.
wish like when I was fighting a Phantom Karate Devil, I felt like I won a fight.
Yes.
It feels like they just go away.
Yeah.
And like I wish I got more feedback like when I was doing well or not doing well instead of just feeling like I'm watching my strength bar run out. That would have been huge and like then I think it would have been super fun, you know, in the kind of insane messy way that it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just and thinking about it, comparing it to Auto Duel because that was the whole point of this for me. And I will continue to search for games to make you compare them to Auto Duel. Normally we don't look for crappy games, but I'm now on a quest, so buckle up, boys and
I
girls.
really think you're mad at me about that. What was
I'm a
the
little
game
mad at you. Not,
that you were
not
like
personally, just like, no, he can't tell me I can't lower the floor.
what was the game that I
Pickle
thought was
Wars.
not as bad as Auto Duel
Pickle
and you
Wars.
thought
And I think you
Pickle
had a thing
Wars?
for the developer more than the game. Like, you really
Yeah,
appreciate who she is and what she sort of stands for, which I can get behind, but that doesn't save the game.
right. Right.
But
So that's what I feel like everything now that we do is just you being really pissed at me about
pretty
saying
much
Pickle
everything,
Wars
all the
was
stuff. We're not friends anymore, Matt. You
right.
liked
This
Pickle Wars
is
and
what
I didn't.
you're watching the shell of a friendship just kind of collapse in on itself from now
But we
on this
can't
channel.
stop because we promised more games.
Yep. We're like booked up through like 2030 and we just hate each other. Oh,
No, but I was going to say, I think the thing that makes it kind of makes the difference here is Auto Duel had that frickin' casino.
mm-hmm.
It made the best way to play the game be don't play the game.
Right.
And this, I mean, there are some hot mess parts of this, but you still play the game to play the game.
You're just in it and it's
Yeah.
not trying to do more than it should. It's doing exactly what it
Set out
needs
to
to be
do.
doing.
Be one of
Maybe
the
needs
first
some
fighting
tweaking.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's bizarre,
Yeah.
which I like.
That it is. It is a trip. And I can't say it controls well
No.
because there've been a couple times where like I couldn't kick anymore and I didn't know why.
That definitely happens to me and I was like, do I not have enough strength? But no, you have enough strength.
Yeah,
It's
enough
just like
strength.
sometimes it doesn't want to kick.
Right. So I don't totally know why that was happening, but
Yeah. And it's like hard to control because you need to manipulate the button.
you push the button to move. That's one. Like instead of you just push the stick to move, it's button and stick to move. And like,
And like,
yeah,
how do
that's
they decide?
backwards.
Right. And then you inexplicably get nunchucks at level 2.
Yeah.
And then you have them for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, is
you
that
don't
what happens? Level 2 gets you nunchucks? I just saw them.
No, I mean the second board gets you
Oh.
nunchucks. And then you're just like doing it for the rest of the game, which is cool because I like them.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah. Watch level 1, no nunchucks. So you're just punching. And then every subsequent level,
Wow.
you're rocking the chucks.
Just learned something.
For no reason.
That's weird. That is an interesting design choice. I wonder if they intended them to be something you could pick up and just gave up.
No idea.
No idea.
I'm curious if one would ever try the right hand if you would just punch, or the
Right hand.
left
Yeah.
hand, or whichever non-nunchuck hand.
Your non-chuck hand.
Right.
Your
But no one
chuckless
ever
hand.
uses that. No one has ever used the other hand in the history of Phantom
Phantom
Crowd
Crowdy
Devils.
Devils.
I guarantee it. Because it's a weird thing to have to do. To
Well,
use.
yeah. And the other thing is no blocking. Like you knock stuff out of the air. You don't really block. And that's kind of I don't know.
Yeah.
So many questions.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the control room, you have to block 10 bombs or something to win. So I should actually count to see if I blocked that many bombs, but I'm not even sure if I'd see them because they don't always stay on the screen. And some of them come through the air, so you have to jump and attack to get them. And some come through slow and some come through fast. It's weird, man.
The blocking stuff is largely a crapshoot unless you're in the far right side of the screen. And like, I don't even know if the arrows hit you.
I don't think I've ever been hit by an arrow.
Yeah, it's knives, and then only in this level are there bombs, I think.
Yes.
So, what you're listening to now is us just coping with the reality of this game
And the
to
other
try to
thing
like
on this
put
last
structure
level
around
that I
it.
think is completely unfair is it takes away how much health you have left.
Right, so you just don't know.
I don't know what's going on anymore. Like it not only took away everything else, it took away that. I don't know what's going on.
Right, and you barely knew what you were doing to start with.
Yeah.
Well, I think that puts a pin in this.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think we covered it all.
Is it? Yeah, I was gonna say. Is there anything else you wanted to say about it?
I just again want to state how much I appreciate the descriptive language that this game uses because I love the
It's fun.
diabolical ninja and the
Yeah,
phantom karate devils, and
it's totally fun. It's
it's
totally,
great. That's fantastic.
totally fun.
But that's all.
Yeah. All right. Then I'm going to just. We're playing Telengard,
Yes, we are.
which is not the game I remember. So now I'm like wondering what game was it I thought I was picking out for us?
Yeah.
Because it
Well,
wasn't Temple of Opshai. Because I know that game. So it wasn't that one. That one plays closer to this than I thought. Um, yeah, I'm going to have to try and figure out what that other game was because I might want to try that sometime too.
I never played Telengard, but it was a fixture in my household when I was very young.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then our other game, as with our 7 Degrees of Brian Fargo,
Yes.
we'll be playing Demon Forge.
The Demon's Forge.
Yes.
Kick-ass cover. None of this is featured in the game, just so you know.
No. This is
Don't
up
get
there
your
with
hopes up.
that other game. And I've already forgotten the name. We talked about it beforehand.
Dark Lord?
Dark Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk all about it.
Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some tied up woman on the back of a giant snake riding barbarian guy while another guy rides a giant owl into attack.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen in the game.
Nope. You will be doing exactly none of this. But still,
that's a great game right there. That's the
I
game
know.
wanna
Owl
play.
versus snake with tied up lady on the back. Like, okay.
Yeah, I'm down.
That's like some Atari shit.
Yeah.
Like they would be like, okay, this is the game. You're on an owl. This other guy's on a snake. Now use your imagination. But really, it's just two squares that kind of float around. Like, oh, this is awesome. Are you gonna be the owl or the
Activision wanted
snake?
to show their graphics on the box, but like some of the people who were funding it at the start were like, no, and they hired an artist to like represent it, get closer than Atari ever had, but still, it wasn't. They never did. No.
No. All right.
All right, let's wrap it up there. We will talk to all of you next time.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Big thank you to all of you watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, suggesting games, commenting on our videos, or supporting us on Patreon. We appreciate all of your support and look forward to sharing many more videos with you. Thank you again.